Adam Jardy will start. Griffin on deck. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey Zed, thanks for meeting with us today. When I talked to EJ and Jamari after the game, they talked about trying to get more effort in general, just when you guys are playing on the road in some of those environments. You guys have an opportunity now to right some things at home. What do you make of this upcoming week where you're going to have this chance now to play these home games and maybe figure a few things out before you have to go back on the road again?
Talking with the coaches yesterday, we watched a film on Wisconsin, and overall, you just said the effort, we just need to pick it up, especially on the road. It's hard to win big games on the road because you're not home. The home court advantage, it's a real thing. The fans backing you. You go on the run, the fans screaming. So we gotta. I think we just gotta find ourselves really on the road and just be able to play harder for because that's what it takes to win on the road. And these next I think it's 3 home games. It's good to be home. Like, I love playing at home in front of the fans, and as I said before, it's definitely boosts your when you make a dunk or something, you're screaming, so it definitely gives you momentum.
And when you guys are going through a game like you were the other night, when shots aren't falling from the perimeter, I know you beat them in the paint and you outscored them in the paint, and your 2-point field goal shooting percentage is really solid. What's the key? What does this team need to do when shots aren't falling to be able to overcome that?
Well, first, we just need to not get in our heads, really, when shots aren't falling. It can be tough, if your shots aren't falling, but we just gotta just stay the course, and they're eventually gonna start to fall. So I think that's what it really is. Just don't get disappointed when shots aren't falling. Just for me, like, my jump hook wasn't falling in the first couple of minutes of the Wisconsin game, and I was like, what is happening? So just don't get down on yourself. Just keep shooting, because eventually you gotta fall.
All right, next up is Griffin Strong. We'll go Colin on deck. Griffin.
Yeah, Zed, defensively for you guys, I think since coming back from the COVID break, you guys are giving up like 10 more points per game, something like that, than you were before the break. I just wonder, why you think that is. Is that just something where, now you guys are playing obviously Big Ten teams, day in and day out, or what do you feel like you guys need to do better to limit, the scoring of your opponents?
Well, it's coming off the little break we had. It was tough, being off for that long with the COVID issues we were dealing with, especially in the middle of the season. Just you playing well, you're in shape, and just stop for like 15 days. It could be tough. So we definitely have some stuff to work on defense, as you said. Like, we give it more 10 points up more on against opponents. So it's definitely something where every day we're working on getting our defense better and trying to stop teams from scoring, because defense wins games.
And then, yeah, like you individually, I mean, you seem to really be, really hitting your stride and getting in a really good rhythm right before the end of that break. And you had a really good game the other night too. But, has it taken you time personally to get back into a groove here? And maybe do you feel like now you can start hitting your stride moving forward?
It was a little tough. As I said, being off for 15 days. I was one of the people that had COVID, so it's even more tougher trying to get back, just being off for that long. But you just got to push to put in extra work, just to get your body right. So that's like really not an excuse, but it's just something we dealt with as a team, and just got to keep pushing forward.
Did you experience any symptoms at all, or were just pretty much?
It was a little symptoms, like it wasn't nothing too crazy, but I had to deal with it. It came up, so I'm okay now though. So that's all that matters. Just getting back.
Thanks, Ed.
No problem.
All right, next up, Colin Gay. Colin.
Hey, Zed, you were mentioning the kind of offensive approach in terms of, when shots aren't falling and kind of, is that something that you guys can change, or is that something that, can change in the middle of a huddle? Or is it, you say keep shooting until, you guys find a rhythm, but when it gets to a point, is it kind of like, okay, we need to try something new. Did that ever come up, like against Wisconsin, or kind of what was that approach there?
That never came up because when shots aren't falling, you just don't stop shooting. Like you just can't get in your head like, all right, I'm gonna be done shooting. You just gotta keep shooting because you need. But if you don't shoot them, then they're not gonna go in. So
yeah,
no, yeah, it's just something like in the huddle. Like when you see us huddle, we talk about, okay, you miss shots. Everyone miss shots. Just keep shooting. So that's really what we're talking about in the huddle. Yeah. Really just.
Is it? I don't know. Like, I mean, it seemed like last time you guys played Penn State, it was a little bit. I mean, you guys shot better from three. It wasn't as much of a paint kind of performance than you guys had, in other games like the first Wisconsin game. It's I mean, how much of the film do you watch, and how much of Penn State were you like, okay, this is it kind of like Wisconsin where you're like, yeah, this is going to be a different kind of game than we saw that first time, or how do you approach this one as opposed to the last time you played them?
Well, we definitely watch a lot of film. The coaching staff definitely really gets us prepared for our next opponent. But Penn State is a totally different team than when we played them in the beginning of the year. They play faster, they play harder. They have some different pieces. So they're a really good team, and they're coming in on Sunday to beat us. So we just gotta be ready.
Thanks, Ed.
Wow.
All right, next up's Whitney Hardy. Whitney.
Hey, Zed. Thanks for joining us this morning. I guess it's afternoon. You mentioned how Penn State is a different team. They like to get up and down. Is there something maybe a little bit more specific about that's evolved with their team? Maybe a player has kind of come into his own that you guys didn't really experience last time that you have to be more prepared for?
Well, I know they have a couple of people. I think like a couple forwards come back from an injury, and they're making an impact on the game. So we really got to be ready for them. So it's definitely a different team than we played them in the beginning of the year. More definitely a different team, and we've seen on film too how their play style is definitely a lot different.
There we go. And when you guys are having those outside shooting struggles, how much does it mean that you inside players need to really step up, get position on the block, get yourself in a spot where you can get the ball and make easy buckets to kind of get that flow going?
It can be tough sometimes. What was your last question? I'm sorry, someone knocked on the door, and it totally lost my train of thought. So
totally fine. My question really was, when the outside shots aren't falling, then how important is it for you post players to really get yourself in position on the block for those close range shots, those bunnies, to kind of get that team confidence flowing again?
Well, offensive rebounding is big for us too, just to get our second possessions, and when we kick it out, when they double, you just gotta be ready just to shoot. And I tell them, shoot the ball, because when the shots are falling, it's easier for like big guys, because the team can't really, our opponents really can't double. So and I hate when they don't shoot. I tell them, please shoot the ball. If I pass it to you, please shoot it, because it helps us really on both ends, the big and the guards. So yeah, I definitely tell them to shoot the ball.
Now you want those assist numbers, don't lie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
don't
yeah.
lie.
I'm trying to up the assists.
Thanks, Zed.
No problem.
All right, and we'll finish up with a follow-up from Adam Jardy. Adam.
Zed, kind of building off that last question, we've been asking you a lot about the team's perimeter shooting, but you guys as a team collectively have started to shoot really well inside the arc, and you've done a pretty good job scoring in the paint these last couple of games. And I just wonder how much that is maybe becoming part of this team's identity. I feel like we always talk about you have a lot of shooters, but in these last two games especially, we've seen you guys are showing yourselves to be pretty effective down low. How much of this team's identity do you think going forward is rooted in scoring in the paint?
Well, we take that's one of our points of emphasis, is to play through the paint. Once you get into like the heart of like defense, when you play in the paint, it's easy, because the whole teams like to suck into the middle when you have the ball in the paint. So when you pass to the corner, you have wide open shots. So definitely a big emphasis to to play through the paint because it makes it easier on everyone else. Because now the other teams scramble and closeouts, and it makes it easier because now you have driving lanes with teams. So yeah, it definitely is one of our emphasis to definitely play through the paint.
Do you think that that's like, as this season goes forward, is that something you think this team could get known for? I mean, do you think people are going to look at this Ohio State team at the end of the year and say this is a team that, yes, they had shooters, but they had, they could score in the block?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. The coaching staff is really putting emphasis on playing through the paint, just driving post play, just to get it in the heart of the defense, to make shots easier and for the shooters, because teams know that we like to shoot threes and they play the three, so we don't get them off. Justin Arns, they don't leave his body at all because they want to shoot. So once we get the ball in the paint, we can make the right passes and have people open.